when you're campaigning, I think you're liberated to say things without thinking about, okay, how am I going to actually practically implement this?
I lied to get elected. Lying to get elected doesn't make me any different from anyone else who has acquired a position of power in this government. You see, every other politician lies and promises to take care of you and fight for you and give you goodies in order to trick you into giving him power. But despite the noble intentions they put on for show, all politicians have only one goal: to be the ones holding the reins of this control machine. I have a few things to tell you that you probably aren't going to want to hear. Shut up and listen. This thing you call government, this God that you pray to solve all the problems in your life, this pretended protector and savior, this stinking heap of anti-human oppression that you so eagerly subjugate yourselves to, if anything was ever the epitome of pure evil, this is it. Trouble is, most of you are too stupid to see it. You still worship it, pay tribute to it, and allow it to chain you, shackle you, control you, and monitor you. Instead of thinking for yourselves, you're constantly clamoring for some new leader to save and protect you. Your cowardice and irresponsibility built this monster. It commands and you obey like good little slaves. And worst of all, you hold up your unthinking obedience as a virtue. You believe it makes you good people. It doesn't. It makes you stupid robots. You'll eagerly flock to the next lying politician who promises to take care of you, throw away your freedom to the next political con man who promises you security, and you will reap the rewards of your own ignorance. I can't save you from your addiction to subservience, and I don't intend to try, but there are some of us, however few, who actually want freedom, who would rather face an uncertain world as responsible adults than live as slaves in a cage. And now we're going to do it. As for the rest of you, all you have to do is stay out of our way. If you insist on putting shackles on yourselves, be my guest, but you will no longer put them on those of us who choose to be free. Now it's time for a little irony. You believe that by pushing buttons in voting booths, you give certain people the right to rule you. In reality, I have no more right to rule any of you now than I did yesterday. I'm still only human. Yet, for some reason, you accept it as undeniable gospel that governments have the right to rule you, that the Constitution gives moral permission for these liars and thieves to meddle in your lives. You accept that they own you and have the right to take what you produce, to tell you what you may and may not do, and to tell you what you must do. You refuse to see the truth, that neither constitutions, nor voting booths, nor legislative rituals can give anyone the right to rule you. You own yourselves, but most of you don't even want to. You feel more comfortable being the property of politicians. It's pathetic how you people still imagine this to be a free country. There's hardly a single thing or activity left in this country that the parasites haven't gotten their tentacles into. You can't lift a finger without government permission, without them taking a cut. The kid who sells lemonade in his front yard is breaking half a dozen different laws. You can't produce anything, sell anything, trade anything, or build anything without paying fee after fee, jumping through hoop after hoop, filling out this form and that form, getting this license and that permit, going through all the inspections, groveling before regulators, and then hoping that whatever moronic bureaucrat you end up with decides to give you his holy permission to do what you had the God-given right to do to begin with. And you call yourselves free? Hooray for the pathetic, washed-up, hypocritical, falling-apart slave state that is the United States of America. Exactly what is it about this sheep pasture that you think is still worth celebrating? What the hell do you think that flag represents anymore? What the hell are you proud of? Proud to live in the country with the most intrusive, obnoxious, abusive tax collectors in the world? Proud to live in a country that has a higher percentage of people in prison than any other country in the world? Proud to be ruled by a government that has started and perpetuated more military conflicts in more areas of the world than any other in history? Proud to live in a country where the politicians and bankers have seen to it that you, your children, and your children's children will forever be their indentured servants, to be forever herded and fleeced like sheep? Proud to live in a country where the biggest slimeballs on the planet tell you what you can eat, what you can drink, what you can drive, what you can build, where you can work, what you can produce, and what you can think? When July 4th rolls around and you're all swigging your beer and waving your flags, does the fact that we are infinitely less free than we ever were under British rule ever make its way into what's left of your brains? Hooray, the land of the free, where half of what you earn gets swiped by politicians, where you fall for every crisis the liars in D.C. throw at you. They create problem after problem: war, recession, terrorism, poverty, crime, disease, environmental disaster, and you are such well-trained sheep that time and time again you demand your own enslavement as the solution. 200 years ago, Benjamin Franklin told you that those who would choose temporary security over essential liberty deserve neither. Well, you did, and now you have neither, and it's just what you deserve. You look to the biggest crooks in the world to be your all-powerful saviors, and now you are paying the price. I know firsthand how easy you are to deceive and manipulate. You elected me because I pitched the same lies all the parasites in this town do, only I did it more convincingly and with a slightly slicker presentation. I promised to save you from the economic depression that the government caused. I promised to save you from the wars that the government caused. I promised to save you from the crime that the government caused. I promised to save you from the terrorism that the government caused. I promised you, if you would just accept me as your master and give me control of your lives, that I would save you from all the scary things that you could imagine, real or made up. I used the same lies and deceptions that every politician does. I just did it a little better than the others this time. And while I was duping you, I was also convincing the powers that be, the people who run this whole show behind the scenes, that I would make a good stooge for them, that I would be a good puppet and dance to their tune. Otherwise, I never would have even been on the ballot. You voted for me because it comforts you to have someone tell you that if you'll only bow to him and give him unlimited power, he will make all your problems go away. That is the lie you always fall for, that if you just find the right leader, he can make the world a safe, happy place. But that's never their intention, and that's never what they do. They make the world a scary, dangerous place to ensure that you will forever remain dependent upon them and their so-called solutions. And you keep applauding them as they commit the worst of atrocities based on what they say are the best of motives. And what about you, my fellow Americans? What are your motives? You pretend that the things you ask of government, you ask from the best of intentions. You only want to feed the poor, to protect the innocent, to punish the wicked. Or so you say. But if your intentions are indeed so pure and noble, why is it that you fail to notice the damage done by the government's so-called solutions? Haven't you noticed what government welfare has done to the poor? Reducing millions of people to stupid empty shells without purpose and without hope? Haven't you noticed that the government schools crank out millions of ignorant kids whose one lasting talent is the ability to mindlessly do as they're told? Haven't you noticed that the government's economic solutions, from socialist redistribution to the fraudulent banking system and its fake money, have impoverished this once prosperous nation? Haven't you noticed that everything the government touches turns to shit? If your motives are pure, why have you not noticed that every time you entrust these challenges to rulers and masters, they end up enslaving the poor, oppressing the innocent, and empowering the wicked? Are you just profoundly unobservant, or is it something worse than that? Could it be that your desire to help others and to fix society is outweighed by your desire to escape the uncertainties and responsibilities of living life as a free human being? Is that why you keep voting for whoever pretends he can save you from reality and magically save you from whatever the future might hold? Why else would you continue to fall for the patently ridiculous lies that all of the politicians keep telling? In your lifetime, every election has been nothing more than that, a contest to choose the better liar. None of them ever meant a word they said. They all had one goal: to rule you. But you never caught on. They kept feeding you a choice between two slimeball crooks, one colored red and one colored blue. And you kept proving that you were too stupid to see through the scam. You kept advocating your own enslavement, unable to comprehend the possibility that you might have the power to do something other than just choosing one of two tyrants to run your lives. Let me make this perfectly clear. If you voted for me, or for my opponent, you're a gullible idiot. You fell for the same tyrant tricks that the megalomaniacs of the world have been using for thousands of years. And I'm not expecting to talk you out of your illusions here. These days, I'd be more likely to get converts out of a herd of lemmings than out of the American public. No, I'm not here to stop you from enslaving yourselves. I'm here to stop you from enslaving that minuscule minority of Americans who still understand what freedom is and who still yearn for it. Amazingly, despite the constant authoritarian indoctrination cranked out by the so-called education system and the media in this country, there are still a few people here who value freedom. You've heard of them. They're the people you love to despise and insult. They're the kooks, the extremists, the people who won't get with the program or go with the flow. They're the black sheep whom you look upon with scorn for wanting to step out of the shearing line. They don't fit in. They're the lunatic fringe. They're not like you. No, they're not like you. They dare to state the truth. You don't. They can think, and you can't. Every inch of progress in history has been their doing, and they've had to constantly fight upstream against all the insults, condemnation, and outright violence which the dull-witted majority made up of people like you has thrown at them. They ended slavery while people like you sat idle. No, it wasn't that fascist Lincoln. They put an end to women being treated like animals while people like you called them names. They spoke out against the injustices of regime after regime while the supposedly good citizens just quietly did as they were told. They resisted the warmongering of this country and countless others, while people like you either condoned or turned a blind eye to mass murder. They put themselves in harm's way for the sake of truth and justice, while people like you quietly avoided making waves. No, they are not like you, those extremists and radicals. They have taken on the responsibility of being human beings, while you have remained content to be stupid animals.